June meeting in North End Public Safety. It's actually a pretty slow month on the stats for the Part 1 crimes for the last 30 days. There was no homicides, no sexual assaults, no robberies, one aggravated assault, I'll get into that, one B&E from a residence, I'll talk about that. No auto thefts, there was 7 larcenies, no car breaks, no graffiti reported, no community disorders. There was 19 tows, and 117 motor vehicle violations, and 336 parking citations. The aggravated assault was basically a domestic, and that's being handled with. The B&E was on Charter Street on the 4th. The victim reported she returned home, and there was property removed from the apartment. There was no sign of forced entry, and she believes she knows who came into her apartment and took it. That was 13 Charter. And the larcenies, the 8th of May, 10 Hanover Ave, larceny from the building, larceny over. And there was 3 bikes taken on the 12th, the 14th, 2 on the 14th, 1 on Salem Street, 1 on North Margin, and 1 on Charter Street. The bikes were stolen, 1 from the building and 2 that were locked out front to a pole. There was a larceny from a building on Hanover Street on the 13th of May. There was a larceny of motor vehicle plates on Prince Street on the 15th. And on the 20th of May, there was a larceny from a building at 256 Hanover. That's basically for the last 30 days, the crimes reported. Like I said, it was actually no car breaks for the last 30 days. So the 2 individuals that were grabbed last month that were pretty active in that business, it's really helping out.
They're still in?
As far as I know, they're still in here.
Okay, Steve?
I don't know.
I mean, I know it's not up to you, but it's just a question.
I know that. Now, we arrest them once they... Yes, David.
Can you please tell us more about the types of items that were stolen in these larcenies, other than the bikes that you mentioned? Because I know oftentimes, you know, anything that's taken, it's usually the same types of things, computers, iPods.
The Hanover Ave was, they put a chair out on the sidewalk. They went back inside and somebody stole the chair.
Okay.
And apparently, what I think is someone thought it was being thrown out. But, you know, I don't know. That's how that was, Hanover Ave.
Okay.
What is it? It's in somebody else's living room.
Yeah, somebody else has it now. The, on the 13th, the larceny building, 236 Hanover. Oh, this was the yoga studio again. She was working out, she left her jacket in the coat room, and they took her iPhone from her jacket pocket in the coat room. The bikes. And the plates again were mass plates stolen on Charter Street off a 1998 Dodge Colt. And the larceny building at 256 Hanover on the 20th was silver Apple MacBook. And oh, this is the, he doesn't have a lock on his office door. And he had gone out, and he can't lock the office, but he failed to lock the front door of the building. So somebody came in and grabbed his Mac 9.
Yeah, correct.
His Mac 9. Yes.
How long you were forward?
That. Trying to On the arrest, there was 5 for the last 30 days. Willful malicious destruction of property. That was on Tileston Street on the 10th. This was basically a domestic that the suspect damaged the goods of the victim in the home, and he was arrested for that. There was assault, battery, dangerous weapon. That was on the 22nd, right? And that was the, again, that was that domestic on Commercial Street. And the female was arrested in that case. On the disturbing the peace was on the 26th. That was on Foster Street after 11. There was 3 calls to the apartment, a loud party. They're very disruptive. And when the police officers responded, it didn't go very well. So the tenant was arrested for disturbing the peace. And he also a keeper of a disorderly house. Okay. And again, another noisy party on the 23rd, 2:30 in the morning on Henchman Street. And they would not cooperate, so the tenant was arrested there. And he is also being summoned in on the ordinance. Keeper of disorderly house also.
Excuse me, so what happens now they get arrested? The next day they have to appear in court?
Right.
And what do they say? They get a fine, they get reprimanded? I mean, I'm just curious.
They'll definitely get the fine.
Punishment.
But as far as the punishment, I really don't know what they do.
Is it up to the judge?
It's up to the court, yeah.
What's the fine?
It's $100 the first one, then it goes up to $300 the second time.
Officer, did you say it was the tenants who were fined or the owner?
This was the tenant, right? The owner, I believe, had to move out on Memorial Day. Now they're gone. He must have, well, we put it in the newspaper for that reason. And I was working Monday, they were moving out. Yes,
It was brought to my attention back on Monday night that I believe it was within the last week or so, at 454 Hanover Street, I believe, there was a recent party. Like I said, the party was recently held. There were noise issues. The host of the party, or the host, claimed that they had a permit from City Hall or Patty Popper's division, entertainment license and whatnot.
That's different.
in the residence?
That's not the
Go
office.
Go ahead.
Patty Papa has special events.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, I'm just quoting what someone told me. I don't have to
No,
tell the information.
that wouldn't happen inside a residence.
That's what I was kind of thinking too.
I'm sorry?
That wouldn't happen in a residence.
I looked into this.
What happened?
I called the entertainment board and the liquor license board, and they didn't have it. It was Oh, I was just telling him what I did at City Hall. I called to see if they had
No
permit.
permit issued for it.
As far as we could tell, there was no permit issued from the liquor board or the entertainment board. Unless they did come under 454, I asked for 456. But,
That's being investigated by a sergeant anyways right now. There was some miscommunication about the time the call was put in, what time the officers arrived, and everything like that. So we're looking into that.
Go ahead, folks.
Just to clarify, that was 456 Hanover?
Thank you.
Savage Studios?
Yes, that was it. Yes, thank
we live above the
We placed the phone calls to the police that night. We called the owners of Savage Studios twice. This was, we got a notice at about 3 in the afternoon. They were going to have a party. They did not go through the HOA, which they were supposed to do. they, as Nicole found out, did not have a license for a party. They were serving alcohol. We called the party line twice after we tried to get the owner to stop with the noise. It was
Our
incredibly loud.
condo was shaking, the whole thing was shaking. I
The
mean,
floor, the walls, the
Live
appliances,
The
everything.
party line is the street wall number, correct?
The loud party line. We called them twice.
You
Then we
called 911
called,
or you called the party line?
we called the loud party line twice. We called the owners first, didn't get anywhere with them. Then we called the party line twice. No response. Called the A1 district front desk and they directed us to just call 911, which we did. We didn't get officers out there until almost 10:30. This started at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, but you didn't call 911 at 7 o'clock, correct?
No, we
You didn't
called-
call 81
we
until what
called-
time? After 10
Right,
o'clock,
we-
maybe?
We called 911, it was around 9 o'clock. And they responded just before 10:30.
Right.
But
And that was a Saturday night,
this
correct?
was Saturday
Saturday
night.
night, yeah.
The officers came into our place because they thought it was 454 when it was actually 456 the business. We brought them upstairs to our unit to hear the music.
So they could hear the music.
It was ridiculously loud and they agreed. Went downstairs, went into the party. Thought it was going to be resolved. The noise was still going on. The music, they had a live amplified band in a space that was smaller than this room. It was
I mean,
ridiculous.
my kitchen was
But
shaking.
did the music stop when the officers first came or it never
Yeah.
stopped at all?
For a minute, literally a minute,
So
when
you-
they walked in the door. And then after they left,
So after they left, it resumed?
It-
the music resumed.
Did you call again
I
after
was,
that?
well, I was right out in front of the studio, and I met them there as they were leaving, and I asked them why the music was still going on, and they said they spoke to the proper authorities at City Hall, so there was nothing they could do, and I thought to myself, how is there nothing they can do about the noise? It doesn't matter if they had a license for a party or not, the disturbing of the peace was the problem, that's why we called them.
Right.
The alcohol issue and the entertainment license was a separate issue. We talked about the noise was the
Was
problem.
it a private party?
They
It
said
was a private party.
So
I have,
that's one way that maybe they wouldn't have needed a permit, they said when I called, because they weren't letting people in from the outside. They probably still should have had one, but,
You have a band in there. then
well, the
it's-
band's different from the liquor.
I mean, as a resident, as an owner of the unit, how can I, from 7 to 11 at night, I'm not allowed to be in my own unit and interact, even hear my TV.
it was ridiculous. And nothing stopped. And they, just before they left, the officer said, if there's any more problems, let us know. I said, there's a problem right now. The music hasn't stopped. And they just left.
I think that was,
Why would the officers ask for the paperwork if they had permits?
I'd have to speak to the officers, but I know it can get handled differently by different officers. I don't know what happened that night.
It wasn't a
So I speak to
negative
them,
question, it was an information.
Right?
Well, they took
But
the
I would,
alcohol.
I would keep calling if it ever happens again, until you're satisfied.
They took the alcohol outside as well. It was in the back alley. They were partying in the back alley as well.
If that's scenario to happen again, it shouldn't, I would call again and ask for a supervisor to come up.
Oh, I wish I thought about it at the time, believe me.
You
My
know,
blood was
if you're not
boiling.
satisfied with the first response, and not to get the officers in trouble, but now we can find out why they acted the way they did, because there might be a reason why they acted the way they did. I'm not, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I
You
understand.
know, I don't want to, I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but now we can take it to another level. You'll probably get a more satisfactory response.
Well, I don't understand why they would allow something like that anyway.
No, no.
With a live amplified band in a residential building. It was insane.
It's in the business.
Yeah, just a quick question, just for the benefit of everyone here that doesn't know who you are, could you please introduce
I'm
yourself?
Sergeant Mazzola.
There we go, thank you. And I don't mean to pry or anything, but is there any reason why the captain couldn't make it tonight?
I think he had more.
Another event.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You Yes.
never heard of permits for private parties. What's this all about?
In a residential
I mean, in
area.
a residential area, shouldn't
They
they
didn't
get
have
the
one to
permission
begin-
of everybody in the
They
building?
didn't have one to begin with.
Huh?
They didn't have it anyway.
No, but she said, but they didn't get one. Why should they be given one if it doesn't have the
No,
permission
they
of
said
everybody in
they
the
don't-
building?
No,
I
if
don't
you're gonna
think
have
the-
a live band, it should be a,
But I don't think the issue's with the permit or not at this point. I think
But the police
Right.
I think it's purely the volume of noise that was coming out. Whether they had a permit or not, they still have to be reasonable, don't they?
But no, I
You're in a
know,
residential
but
neighborhood,
if
right?
somebody like me lives in the building, and they turn around and they say to me, I have a permit, well,
No, it goes back to them asking if they had permits, and then if the officer said they did. That's what-
yeah, I
that's what
understand that, but why are they issued in the first place?
Right, they shouldn't even get
They
it.
shouldn't be issued a permit unless everybody in the building agrees that they can have a party.
Well,
These
that's
people
the
were.
Yeah, but
Right.
I don't think they even a permit existed.
But the police.
But does something like that exist on the books? I can call you up and say, I want to have a private party, can I have a permit?
if you're gonna have live entertainment.
Like sometimes places
I mean,
have,
that's crazy.
but it's not an apartment, it was a business.
It's a business.
It's a business, it's a business.
Oh, it's not a home.
No, it's a business, in a residential building. Well, the first floor is commercial and the top floor is
Still
residential.
get the permission of the
Exactly,
people that are in the
yeah,
building.
that's
That was probably the confusion with the officers because it wasn't another apartment having a party.
Didn't ask to see a permit.
Yeah, but it was a misuse of that business.
I agree with you.
That's
Which,
not what.
you know, just make a second call on it. It shouldn't happen again.
We're also trying to understand what all of our
If I can
rights
just, you know, sometimes we get officers that have worked in other divisions. They're not dealing with loud party calls, so they're gonna handle it in a way they would in another division, and everybody's satisfied. You understand what I'm saying? The way you might handle, you know, a loud party call in other parts of the city, you're not gonna handle it somewhere else, especially if it's coming out of business. Okay? So this is a matter where I can talk to the officers myself and say, hey, if you come up here, we wanna take it to another level. All right? For instance, I came from Area D, the patrolman. I grew up in Brighton, so I know what loud parties are all about with students. Believe me. We do deal with them out there. A lot different.
Yep.
Concerning that parties on Back Entry Street, I called the police, I never called the call, but I wanted to call the last insurance. But I really believe there was an after-hours place going on. Because they were walking in the door with nothing, absolutely, and everybody was walking in, they might have been 40 at the time. A policewoman came one night, I watched from the window. They come out, they told her whatever they wanted to tell her, and she got in the car, she went back and looked in the window. And she saw that there were too many people in there, maybe 4 or 5 people stepped out, and the party continued, and everything just went out. This is what happens every time we call.
And that was the week before, right?
That was the week before.
Right. So then we put it on the list to watch,
Yeah.
right? And then that came in that
I
night.
fell asleep at 3 a.m. There was another thing going on at 32 Charles Street, which is they're playing on the street. And this is 3 a.m. They told them to go home and somebody was yelling at them. They went up a one-way street. They were yelling at the police officers. I mean, in my day, the police officer wouldn't let me say you're on a one-way street. Why do they get away with everything? I don't understand what's happening. Then another incident, well, while I'm talking, I'm standing here, I have to say this, I think it was May 17th, I was standing waiting for my friends to come and pick me up, and one guy came out of 32 Charles Street. He whipped his thing out, went against the building, and okay? Now, I'm yelling at him, do that in front of your mother, and he said, my mother's dead, or whatever he said. My boyfriend said to him, do that where you live, he said, I live here. So, now that's okay, but what I called the police, this was going on. But what I did, and she hung up, she said, all right, what color is it? And this is that man, what color is it? I said, he has a pink shirt on. But anyway, to go on with the story, his friend was on the steps in that building, peeing to the sidewalk. So people are walking by, it's 8:20 at night, people are walking out, peeing outside the sidewalk. This is the behavior we have to put up with. I'm totally disgusted. I'm really disgusted. Sex offenders.
I live at 32 Charter. Okay, I live at 32 Charter, and we've had this discussion with the owners. We've had problems with these tenants for the last 2 years. From the tenants in the fourth floor. Those people did not live there, they were friends, but it doesn't matter. Everything from theft and vandalism to loud parties, just basically, obnoxious behavior for the last 2 years. The owners know about this. And up to 3 weeks ago, we had a meeting, we discussed it, we told them, we gave Patty's number, and the neighbor next door to contact them. They are well aware of the situation, but we, myself, my wife, and the other owners in the building, we've done everything we can. We've told them to fine them, we've told them to evict them. Nothing has happened. Their lease is up in August. Officer Lima had come and spoke to those people, or left a note for having them to call, and they blew them off. He had to come back again and talk to them. So they're going to do what they want to do, and it seems like the owners are not doing anything. I have the owner's number. She had said, if anybody wants to contact her, I will give it to you, please contact her. Yes, you let her get 100 calls. But more importantly, I think the police now should call again, because Sergeant Lima, Lieutenant Lima, did go and speak to them, and they don't care. The lease is up in August. Maybe you can say it's in everyone's best interest not to renew the lease and let these kids move on and learn a lesson about respectful behavior.
How old are they?
They got to be in their early 30s. And the issue with the, let me say this. The issue with the 2 kids peeing, so when I called the cops and they came, I told the woman, and they came downstairs from me, because I was pounding on the door and they weren't answering the door, they were on the roof. And the access to the roof is in the apartment, so I can pound as much as I want, but if they don't hear me, they don't know what's going on. When they did come down, because the kid had also threw a can of beer off the roof and into the door in the apartment, he said it was a friend of his. Well, no, it was a friend of his friend, so they didn't know this kid in the pink shirt, but they knew the friend that came with him. So when we told the officer, and he told her that, he said I would get the name. She didn't seem to be all that concerned about it, because if she was, she would have said, well, you knew the guy that he brought him. Why don't you give me his name, and we'll contact him and find out who this kid is. And she said she couldn't do anything because there's no witnesses. I said I have 2 witnesses for you if you get the guy. The kid said that he would find out the name and contact the police. Once again, they don't care. So if you people want her number, she's a North Ender originally, and I would ask the police maybe to call her and say, it seems like these kids don't going to learn. Because we're fed up with it, and it's only going to escalate to the point where there's going to be more problems.
There's going to be trouble.
That's gonna happen.
So we've been trying now, but there's only so much we can do.
Yes, David.
With all due respect to the new captain and the new sergeant, welcome, because I wasn't able to make the meeting and just introduce myself. My name's David Marks. I'm on the North End Waterfront Neighborhood Council, and I represent our Public Safety Committee, so I'm the chair of the committee as well. I was disappointed that personally I wasn't able to make the last meeting because I had to go home and see my family in Philadelphia. I hadn't seen them in months. And I understand that it was the first meeting for you, notwithstanding your Area A1 background. Same thing with the captain, notwithstanding his background as well. Nonetheless, having watched the 39-minute video of last month's meeting, I was a bit disappointed that, with a few exceptions, that some of the big issues that have been going on forever, which I know Teddy knows, weren't brought up. And so I was really looking forward to meeting the captain tonight. He has a prior conflict, scheduling conflict, that's fine. But I don't want to wait another 30 days till the next meeting to bring up some of the big ticket issues, which, of course, I would like you to.
Well, you can always come by the station and speak to the captain. Anytime you want.
Okay.
Myself, captain, I have an open door policy,
But
folks.
there's always a private limit that they're busy. I've gone in to speak to sergeants and, well, he's busy right now. You don't know.
No, call me ahead of time. I'll schedule something.
Well, nonetheless, since this is, since this is a public meeting, this is our monthly meeting, which we appreciate you showing up to. There are a few things I'd like to bring up. In addition to what I brought up before. According to a Boston Herald article that I happened to read, the article was either May 30th or 31st. I read it on Saturday morning, May 31st, and I actually emailed it to our neighborhood council. The city of Boston is looking at mostly this was what the exact words were, mostly non-residential neighborhoods, I think we know about this already, to implement a pilot program in regards to late night establishments being kept open later than their current scheduling time, that are located right along the subway's route where they have the late night subway hours now on Friday and Saturday nights. So the examples that were listed in the category of mostly non-residential neighborhoods just happen to be Faneuil Hall and the Bullfinch Triangle. And guess what neighborhood lies directly in between both of those? I wanted to impress this point upon the captain and you as well to see what is your stance on this and what can you do to please advocate on behalf of us to say, you have to think about, yes, those bars right then and there are still somewhat mostly non-residential, notwithstanding the new condos that are coming up out of the garden. But
A police meeting we're having. A police meeting we're having.
But those two areas are only a 5 to 10 minute walk away from our neighborhood. And I'm sure there's at least some of those people that go to those establishments in those areas that live here, have friends here, or both. What do you have to say about that?
Well, at this point in time, the mayor, that's something that the mayor came up with.
Yes, sir.
He hasn't, this is all just a suggestion. He's trying it out in the Seaport area right now.
I'm not worried about the Seaport because it'll probably
I understand that. And what, it's just a test thing now. We're not even sure where this is going. He hasn't spoke to any of our command staff yet on it.
Okay.
And it's just something that they're trying out. You know, the captain and myself, we just took over last month, and you know, we're just trying to get a feel of the district again, as you know, we hold our new positions here. And I took over Sergeant Lima, and like I said, any complaints, feel free to contact my office or the captain. The captain is, you know, he's trying to get a feel for all the different neighborhoods we have. We also service, you know, Beacon Hill, Charlestown, Pattontown, and so we're trying to get a hold on everything, and I used to work the midnight shift prior to becoming the community service sergeant here. Myself, Sergeant Zola, very well aware of all the clubs and the Bullfinch Triangle and Faneuil Hall. And we're going to see where the mayor wants to take this. And then, of course, we're going to sit down. Yeah, we're not in favor of being later.
So that's also what I was asking, what was your opinion? What your stance?
But at this point, you know, the mayor wants to try this out. And we'll see where this is going to go. Take care of that.
Officer, not for anything, but only in the market people can get away with stuff like this and it goes unnoticed. Well, so what? Well, they're singing. What am I meaning here? This is our life.
I didn't plan it.
No. I went and I told next door and tell him I told
Lloyd just did. He'll start singing
I
himself.
told Carl he's in charge. I didn't tell the people themselves.
Yes.
This is crazy.
May I ask you a question regarding, I understand the priorities. I'm always hesitant to call 911 because, you know, obviously quality of life issues aren't as important as the stabbing and shooting. I understand all that completely. And so I understand when the police don't come when you call them. But is there any record that could be established so that we have a history that if we have called several times without a response, that is in the record book so that when they do finally come, they say...
calls in the computer.
Once you call 911, it gets entered in.
And it doesn't get erased or anything, it's put, because if it happens several times and that you finally do come, then we can say, look, you know, this is an ongoing instance. This is not the first time that we have a documentation.
That's why you have to call.
Okay.
That's why we advocate everybody to call.
But you're not going to get, understand, you're not going to get an immediate response from a loud party.
I understand it completely, as long as there's a record.
Calls what the word they use up in operations is they stack the call by priority. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Somebody getting attacked is a priority one. A loud party's going to keep getting pushed down. As long as the priority ones keep coming, which some nights they do, some nights they don't stop. You know, I'm sure you're all aware of that. You're all live in this city. You know what I mean?
I'm not arguing that at all.
But then there's some nights that nothing's going on, and the loud party can get dispatched immediately.
Yeah, no, I understand the priority, but I'm just
But you have to
wondering.
call.
But yes, no, we will call, but I'm just saying
Better
that,
off calling 911 right away.
I was just gonna say, because only so that,
When you see the problem that's starting up, like call early in the night
Called too early.
so that it's on the board, and eventually when we get there, you know, what's happening is people wait until the problem is just full blown, and then at that time it could be 2 o'clock on a Saturday night, 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay, when we have 40,000 people coming out of the clubs in downtown, and we have to deal with that.
Sergeant, that called like early, and they say, well, it's only 9 o'clock. Yes, I know, but the people are just getting there. They just ordered food. You know they're gonna be there, and if they're that loud at 9 o'clock, the drunker they get, the louder they get. So we can't win. There's no right or wrong. When we have your reports of phone calls, excuse me, I'm sorry, but I just have to say this. It's not always on the list. Marie and I have said stories that were never on the list, and they were calls made. I realize it's not a priority, but it should be at least on the list that we called.
And it should be. And
That's a slap
if
in
you call
the face.
911, your call is recorded.
But you know
it's
what, one
recorded.
time I called 7 times.
And if you called 7 times, it should be, it's all computerized now. Every time you call 911,
When I asked
it
the
will-
girl for her name, she hung up on me.
it doesn't matter. If you called, it would be a record of it. It's all
Well,
recorded.
it wasn't said at the meeting, it
And
wasn't
I'm
in the
telling you,
report.
we're keeping track of all these things here. See, we have a database of all the party
Well,
calls that
it was never told to us when we had our meetings that month. And we mentioned it, Marie, how many times? It was
Matt,
never
do me a
written.
favor, Matt. Shut off that camera, please. Shut it off.
So the captain was there at the time, a year ago. And one of the gripes that was going around was that the police were arriving at a location where there was either party on the deck, whatever it is, noise, definitely at a location, you know, condo unit. And they didn't write any violations. There was no $50 fine, $100 fine written out. And after, we spent hours at that meeting, and the captain said, we are going to start writing those fines. So I haven't been there in a year. Have fines been written when they show up at these apartments?
Oh, yeah.
How much was collected?
Okay, so was one written at Henchman?
The court collects.
Do you know if one was written at Henchman?
Fines.
How would that fine be written? Is it written to the person that's on the lease?
Yeah, he was arrested, and he was also issued a fine with it.
Okay.
Now, is that tied into the nuisance ordinance that Sal Martina passed?
I don't know. That's
How much do you?
I don't know, that's when it goes to court, I don't know what happened.
Okay.
But he was arrested.
That's very important that
He was
those
issued.
fines get written, otherwise it goes nowhere. Same reason you get parking tickets.
Only bought you 10 minutes worth.
Yes.
This flyer actually was written, and this is not the first time this has happened, just to show you the current state of affairs. It says North End safety meeting with the Boston Police every first Thursday of the month, and then at today's date, time and location. Problem streets are as follows. Basically everything that Marie said, not a coincidence, Henchman, Charter, Fleet, Chief, Endicott, Salem, and Hanover streets, just to name a few. Issues are as follows. Roof decks, parties and whatnot, screaming, talking loudly, urinating out on the streets, indecent exposure, keeping other residents up with no regard for the elderly. You mentioned elderly abuse. Now involving, this part I'm not sure, now involving the city, state, and federal government. So obviously someone was compelled to write this, and there is proven documentation year after year. You know this from the meeting study about 28 Fleet. That's just one of many examples. One question I also have, and again, I was hoping I could address the captain, no disrespect to any of you. With the feast coming up, even though I know you said you're familiar with the district, you mentioned working at a midnight shift. Obviously the feast is a bit different, even though they go somewhat late into the night. What type of staffing scenario do you have this year, especially Teddy, since you have history, based on lessons learned and past staffing scenarios for prior summer feast schedules? What are you looking at this year? Are you going to step it up? What's your plan?
Well, at this
So
point,
they pay for it.
yeah,
They pay for it.
they pay for
They pay
staff.
for it.
They have to, it's mandatory.
Yeah. So it's all depending what they come up with for their plan for staff. Some are more than others.
No exceptions? It's a 100% paid private key.
If there is a glitch in it,
Yeah, but
if they request 12
we know
men
what's
and they
going
don't
on, so
have
the
12
captain
men,
puts the resources in.
they can't send 12 men.
Okay.
Someone has to take the detail.
Right.
So,
No, that's fine. It's fine. Thank you.
I have a very minor issue, but still important, because everyone here, I'm sure, is well aware of the trash issues. I only have a very specific issue about that that may be pertinent here. I was at the meeting at City Hall with our council president, a couple other North End representatives. We met with the Commissioner of Public Works, Mr. Dennehy, and a couple of the people that work for him. We were told, in no uncertain terms, that trash scavengers are a police issue, not a Public Works Department issue. So I'm a little confused about that, because the police at previous public safety meetings here have said that they can't do anything about the trash, because once the trash and recycling is placed out on the street for pickup, it's public property. Generally speaking, that's been my own personal understanding. Meanwhile, I'm pretty sure, if I'm wrong, please correct me, that state law says that it is illegal to scavenge through such bags, and that technically speaking, once such items are left outside, they are the property of the Commissioner of the Public Works Department. Don't take that literally, you get the idea. They're the property of the Public Works Department. What is fact and what is fiction? Again, not a big issue like the other issues, but still, because they did say it's a police issue, and that the Public Works Department can't do anything about it.
So the one scavenger we spoke to, that we knew about, and I had just spoke to him tonight, again, on the way here. And I told him he had to knock it off. He said, you're making a mess. So I read him the riot act tonight in the offices. Somebody on a Sunday night, because that's one of his big nights, I guess. He was spoken to 2 weeks ago, again.
So if this type of thing keeps up, what type of recourse to the police
He
have?
said it's a city ordinance.
It's a city ordinance.
Okay.
So it's a,
So it absolutely is a police issue. That's what you're
It
saying.
can be.
We can issue a fine if it rises
Issue
to
a fine.
a breach of the peace. Obviously, we can arrest them. So, you know, it depends on the circumstances.
They're very quiet in what they do, but they make a mess.
And that's gonna be a fine, because you can't litter.
And
You
then
know,
when
and-
somebody moves, an officer, excuse me, they go through the bags, clothing is thrown all over the place. They not
Like I
only
said,
look
if
at
he's causing a mess and he's littering, then that's a city ordinance violation, and we're gonna issue him a fine right there. It's a city ordinance violation, which we
I
can issue
feel
him.
bad because they probably could use.
Couple other big issues that always come up, especially this time of year with the better weather. Underage drinking out back along the water by the Storetti Ice Rink. Every summer, anytime.
At
there's
Langone Park,
The Gassy.
yeah, the gas, shot in the water. Yep, we got Roy on it, and we have
Matt and Mark Kerr.
Mark Urban on the midnight shift, and we had a complaint at Laz, I think it was Laz
588.
Parking, yes. And we've spoken to them already, and they said they have 24/7 security, and they will call us if they see the kids on their property. And we will lock them up if they trespass.
We already got him once.
Sergeant, excuse me, I understand that maybe it's Malden, they have a curfew, underage kids have to be indoors by 9 o'clock. So what they do is they come here. So that doesn't apply to them if they're here, we have to settle for having them coming here drinking and whatnot.
If they're underage drinkers, we're gonna arrest them.
Well,
Okay.
see,
And,
we were told last year that, well, the kids are just standing there, that we can't arrest them, they're just standing around. So of course they're smart enough to not have the thing in their hand. But what are they doing here? What are they doing here? They're not
Come to
allowed
see
to
their friends.
be in their own town where they live, so they come here. They started
You
trouble.
can't stop
had
that.
the young mothers, no, but you had the young mothers here last year at one of the meetings saying that they put knives on our kids'
Yeah, if they're committing a crime, we will arrest them.
Well,
Okay?
you know what?
That's where it comes down to. We can't, if somebody's walking through the park at nighttime, and they're not doing anything.
20 kids, one time with 100 kids. Go ahead, say it, tell them.
Exactly. If they're causing a disturbance,
Yeah.
we're definitely going to arrest them. I'm saying, and if they're underage drinking, because we are held by law, man. We can't just go around placing cuffs on people because they're standing in the park, okay? All right, and that's what I'm trying to explain. Now, if they're up to criminal activity, then we will do our job and we will arrest them. And this captain's very big on arresting. I mean, our stats will show that this month we have doubled the numbers in arrests since last year. Okay, and you know, I'm telling you, we have zero tolerance for that now.
That's nice to hear.
Okay.
The first party they had down the park, they were arrested.
Can you please clarify the statistic? You said the total number of arrests for the north end or the whole district?
Whole district.
Whole district is double.
It's double.
Compared to
Last year.
This time last year.
this time last year. Thank you.
Yes.
I have a question, not as severe certainly as the issues that have been brought up tonight, but rodents and managing rodents. I've been seeing quite a few rodents on Tileston Street and Hanover Street in the middle of the day.
Rodents?
And Tileston Street in the middle of the day, and on Hanover Street in the evenings. And so I'm wondering where I can bring this issue up and try to find out what's being done about it.
Sorry to interrupt, that would probably be ISD.
Yeah, that's ISD.
Special services.
Special
They have a
services.
whole rodent control.
Yeah, they have a
Come out here and lay traps.
ISD?
Call up John
Special
Lee.
services.
Special services department. They'll handle that for you.
Did he get a promotion?
Anything else?
Susan officers, they call John Lee and where's everybody at? You know, you gotta tell, I know, but Pedro, he works during the night, and then when you go to call him the day, he's sleeping. You have to tell John Lee he's ahead of the promotion. He's not there anymore?
I don't know, I thought that he said.
Oh, well, I mean, it has to be reported to that office about the voting. Please, I know a lot about that particular subject.
They'll take care, if you call inspection services, they'll connect you to the right
You
person.
have to ask for a name, although it just flies away.
Did you have a question, Vin?
Yes, just want to ask. You can smoke in the fire escape and to them in the, say the people, say in the fire escape and drink, and to them with the cigarette and the back of the
Well,
yard.
they come out and smoke on the fire escape?
And they chose the fire escape. Yes. And the noise, you drink, and when the first thing move.
Just call us, we'll clear them off.
And you got to say 162. I use it to 75 place.
Which
I'm sorry, I can't speak to
162
the
162.
And they're in your building doing it? Next building?
Next building.
Yeah.
No, it's in the price difference.
162 over a 66, 64.
That's the one, 164?
Oh my God, when it I move, the big thing is like that with the beer, the face gives, with the glass, the big glass, and the beer. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so scared.
Well, next time,
Have somebody call for it if you
call
can't
for
do
you.
it.
If you can't,
Have
you know,
somebody
call
call for it.
911.
We'll get them right off.
Right off.
Yeah, but the beer, and then drink, we smoke, and then throw away. And then next day, do the same, and my brother's called, said, shut up. I called the police. I don't care what you call.
Yes, David.
And another guy, he's stupid, just a little bit. And the first kid, and I was so scared, I locked the door. And I called the boss. I saw the boss. They give me the number.
Call 911.
And then my brother is calling 3-4 times because in the morning, 3-4 o'clock in the morning, it's a lot of noise and drinking. I can't sleep. And my brother called and says, you stop. And I called 3 times the building, the next building. Yeah, over the I I want a nice neighbor. It's a nice neighbor. I want to say, when everything is up like that, now what? But before, I was so scared because the window, the same face is coming from my window.
All right.
What was the address?
164 Endicott.
But when these people get belligerent.
But now it's okay.
Yeah, but I mean, they did their drinking, and that's perfect example of the elderly. Absolutely, and it shouldn't have to live in fear.
She took it wrong. And I saw the window.
Just for the benefit of everyone that's in attendance tonight, whether they're here every time or not, and for the benefit of those that watch the film or the video, can you please just let us know what the exact police staffing numbers are. Let's start with Thursday night through Saturday, at least for this time of year, since we're now.
Yeah, we need it.
And then I'll ask the follow-up. As far as, all right, so Roy, you're here. So, hey, put you on the spot. I don't always know
for
you're
the
out.
next 2.5 weeks, I'm on my honeymoon, so.
Congratulations. So what are your hours, at least now, if not year-round? I know you're only one person.
4 to 11:45.
Say it again, I'm sorry?
4 to 11:45.
And that's which days of the week, please?
Well, police officer's schedule goes 4 days on, 2 days off, 4 days on, 2 days off. So my days off always rotate.
Got it. 4 days on, 2 days off. That's good. And then we still have, I know
on his 2 days off. Sammy replaces Roy on his 2 days off.
Exactly. And I know you're not Rich Reelish from Southern University, but he still goes around with the late night, like the loud party call.
Not when school's not.
Not when
in
school's
session.
out, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay. The other thing I'd like to say, and again, this might not really mean much, is I posted on Facebook today, I tried to emphasize the importance of attending as many public safety meetings as possible. Otherwise, the police will truly not know what we're all dealing with any time of the year, every day, year round. Okay, whether it's cyclical or not. It is not, we have a wonderful website. Matt Conti does a great job on NorthEndWaterfront.com with everything that he covers. One benefit of that is it's a forum for people to not only post articles that appeal to all different sets of interests, but to make comments. And there's a pretty good number of people that spend a decent amount of time always making comments about public safety issues. But that is not enough. That is not an adequate substitution for face-to-face interaction with the police at a meeting such as this, or even emails and phone calls. So please spread the word. I think we had a pretty good turnout tonight, but nothing could ever possibly change unless we stand up and advocate for ourselves and truly try to work with the police and vice versa, of course.
I've been putting this call off the email with all those complaints, and I do not use your name. There's no need to. I just have
Phil's
to
been
keep it on
doing
file.
that for years and years.
Thank you for what you do.
Were you getting a number from Roy?
You have a number
Is
we
that
can
what,
call? I
a
want a
different
number.
number?
Not then. What do you mean for that?
No. When you
If
had
there's a disturbance or there's noise or whatever.
911.
You gotta go through the computer. It has to go through the computer system.
Because they dispatch the calls through the dispatch system, through the 911 system, that's why.
Our city councilor, Sal Matina, talked about his plan of hopefully breaking the North End away from the other 10 or 11 neighborhoods that are part of our Area A1 district, so that we would be grouped with Charlestown. Do you know anything about that? Is that I know you're not south, but in case you might know.
I don't know about anything. He has not mentioned that to us at all, so.
It was a recommendation, not an ordinance or.
Right, exactly. It's just an idea, proposal.
Now, if people in office down at City Hall.
It's not slated anywhere yet. I check it all the time. But that's a good point. That would be a great idea.
They were gonna automatically drive around.
That's not bad.
This weekend is going to be a bad weekend. They all moved in last weekend. This will be their first weekend. Yeah, it's going to be
Congratulations.
So I would really appreciate if somebody, I don't know where they come with the drinking and they have to drink like this to be so loud. This this is not our culture. We are culture. We never saw this before. So this has been going on worse and worse in the last 20 years. Now,
All young professionals moving in.
I know.
They go out and they come back.
Don't they care about the name?
Apparently not.
It may be a non-violent area, but this is gonna lead to violence because people look back, they're tired of not sleeping.
And they're tired of nobody helping
And they have to take matters in their own hands. I don't wanna stop saying it, but I would hate to see the violence that can come of it.
Well,
Everybody's losing their temper, it's horrible.
I'd like to say that I've got 60 emails in the last year with pictures of human waste on doorsteps
Oh, yeah.
and stuff. And it's getting worse. I got 10 this week.
Do
I
you,
printed one just to
forward that
show.
stuff to City Hall and all, sir, or do you keep a hold of it?
No, I just report on the paper.
You should be forwarding that to your city council.
Well, I have to forward someone's name to forward. He reads the paper and knows the problem. They don't want their name when they send me the email with the picture. Like you with your 911 call, you want to give a name? I'm looking for the issues.
I think the last thing that I have to say tonight, which I could probably say any night, is simply the fact that, number one, we understand whether any of you, or even our previous captains, admit this or not. There's probably not enough money to go around to get the police staffing in this neighborhood on a consistent basis that we feel that we deserve. Number two, we know that part of that issue is because we are grouped in area A1 with not just one or two other neighborhoods, maybe 10 or 11. Number three, yes, we feel very fortunate we are not in an area that has stabbings and muggings all the time and murders, et cetera, et cetera. But our quality of life issues are real and they have substance. They're not superficial, they're not a smokescreen. Sure, tempers flare, and sure, there's a bit of dramatic element going on. And yes, I could see why a lot of people don't consistently, if ever, call 911. They feel, due to past experience or common sense or preconceived notions, 911, you know, they might not get a police response or certainly not in a timely fashion, or they feel, oh, I'm taking up 911 resources that could be better used at 3 a.m. in a theater district when there's a stabbing. I don't want to get in the way. I understand that. But at the same time, how do you try to balance that with what you're always telling us, which I do agree with? Call 911 so that there's a record that's logged. It's a tough tug of war.
You're not taking up any resources, because like I said, if it's not a priority one call, it's
going to be in the queue. It might
It'll
take
be
a
in the
while.
queue.
No, I know.
And you're not using up any resources by making the phone call. You know, at 2 o'clock in the morning, in all likelihood, we will be up in the theater district because
we know
it's chaos.
Right.
You know, we got to make sure everybody up there gets home without killing each other.
Right.
You know, for lack of a better word. But I will say one thing, as far as what you get for police services, it's I don't know of any other neighborhood in the city that has a midnight or last half walking beat assigned to it. And
Really?
you guys do. And because you're so vocal. The grievances are getting answered as best we can answer. But the 4 years I've been down here, there's been a last half walking man assigned to the north end. Not every night, because of course there's always a manpower, but most nights there's a walking man assigned on it. I don't know of any other neighborhood in the city like that.
In actuality, on his 2 nights off, the captain pays overtime to hire a guy till 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so he's very committed to this neighborhood.
He's very good.
And he's going to continue the commitment to this neighborhood.
How long has that been going on? What you just said?
It's been going on.
Yeah, he's been very good.
As far as the 2 days off, when the 2 days are off,
Yeah, he covers it with somebody else.
He covers it with somebody else.
How come the club doesn't go to that man that's walking around?
If the 911
Because he might already be off on another call.
In the north end. If
Yeah.
he's walking around here.
Yes.
But if
He
the
may
nine-
already
Usually on a
be off.
bicycle.
Well, I'd like to know
He may
that.
already be
I
off on
wanted
that.
to see that's on my board.
Nice kid, he's a quiet kid.
I'd like to know.
Actually, you know what?
Dad knows him very well.
You know what? Actually, in the next meeting, I'll invite him to our meeting and you can meet him, okay?
Yes, please.
Obviously, you may not be up during the hours that he's working, but he is very capable. He's worked for me inside of Missoula on the midnight shift, and any complaints, he takes care of a lot of things, and very, very good.
If we do a 911 call and the dispatcher, naturally, it's just a disturbance, so we get to the bottom of the list. Why doesn't that dispatcher then call
That's what I
him
just said.
and have him come
Again,
to the site?
he might already be off on
I'm sure that's the
You're
goal.
not gonna, we really can't measure what he's handled during the night, what he handles during the day that never results in what even going on in the air. He might just take care of something just by his mere presence.
On his own.
On his own, in the problem
So
solved.
we have a half a shot if some guy is already in the not band.
You know, and again.
Like I'll put it in
like I said,
perspective.
Rather than a killing.
Officer Gava, he actually has the most parking tags and moving violations on this district. And it's all issued here to make sure that he enforces all these things in your neighborhood. So, I know, but I'm saying,
We need somebody after that.
yeah, and then Mark Pervin handles a lot of issues that, like Sergeant Mazzola said, that may not be call related, but it's a quality of life issue. He might be removing a homeless guy that's on the doorstep somewhere, and he does a lot of things. Trust me. I wouldn't say that he was one of the better officers, but you have some of the best officers in this district.
Sergeant Mazzola, do you ever work the north end, or just maybe on occasion? Or?
I'm the patrol supervisor for the whole division right now.
There we go. Thank you.
So I can get pulled to Charlestown.
He actually had a prior engagement too.
Well, get him here.
Yeah. Chucky. Lieutenant Detective Wilson.
At least we could have
Is that it?
and held us.
Did you get that info? All right, thank you. Oh, wow.